Chapter 19. The Walk That Changed Everything. January 1st, 2009. A new year.
Ow!
A clean number on the calendar. People across Ammon were celebrating, lighting fireworks, calling family, gathering around tables full of warm food and loud conversation. But in our home, there was no celebration, no calls, no cake. Just the same faded furniture, the same noise from the upstairs apartment, the same curtains separating our kitchen from where we slept. Another year had arrived, and I still felt stuck in the same moment I'd been living for years. But this day was different in one small way. I couldn't keep quiet anymore. Not about how I felt, not about her, not about the silence that had grown between us since the last time I saw her. I hadn't spoken to Catalina in weeks. We had no phones, no church, no way to bump into each other. But I still remembered her number. Every digit burned into my mind like a song I couldn't stop humming. So I did something that surprised even me. I asked my little brother if he had 2 diners. I didn't explain, and he didn't ask. I just walked to the edge of the old market, to a dusty yellow telephone cabin that most people forgot even existed. The glass was scratched, the receiver smelled like rust, but I dropped the coins in, dialed the number I had memorized, and held my breath. The line clicked. Then it rang once, twice, 3 times. And then her voice soft, calm like it hadn't changed, and it all answered with a gentle, "Hello?" My chest felt like it was going to burst. "Catalina," I said. "It's Fernando." There was a pause, a breath. Then she whispered, "I didn't think I'd hear from you again." We spoke for only a few minutes, just long enough for me to apologize, explain, and ask the one thing I needed most. "Can we meet?" She said yes. The next afternoon, I arrived early. My shirt was clean, but wrinkled, my shoes barely holding together. I waited near the edge of the old church steps, heart pounding in my ears, hands trembling like I was back in the desert. She showed up a few minutes later wearing a soft gray coat and her hair pulled back with a silver pin. She looked tired, but beautiful. We started walking, not in a hurry, not saying much, just walking. Through narrow alleys, past fruit stands and shuttered shops, the smell of roasted nuts drifting through the air. I wanted to say 100 things, but didn't know how. So I said what came easiest. "You look different today," I said. She raised an eyebrow. "Different how?" I hesitated. "Like something's on your mind." She smiled faintly, then looked away. I could feel her holding back. It was in the way she breathed slower, the way she kept pausing like her words were stuck somewhere between her chest and her lips. Finally, I asked the question I'd been holding in since the last time we met. "What was it you wanted to tell me? That day you walked away." She stopped walking. We were under a crooked street lamp near an old stone wall. She looked down at the ground, then back at me. "There's something I should have told you a long time ago," she said. "It's about me, and about my family." I took a step closer, my voice soft. "Tell me now." Her eyes met mine, and for a second, I thought she was going to say everything. That this would be the moment the mystery ended, and truth finally took its place. But before she could speak, someone called her name. A man's voice, loud and sharp from across the street. She tensed. Her eyes darted toward the sound. She turned back to me, her face now shifting from vulnerable to guarded. "I have to go," she said quickly. "Wait, what is it?" I asked. My voice cracked. "Just tell me." But she shook her head. Next time she whispered, "I promise." And then she turned and walked away, leaving me standing alone on a quiet street with more questions than answers, and a heart that couldn't decide if it was finally full or about to break. Stay tuned for Chapter 20. What she's hiding could change everything, and what's coming might not wait for the truth.